Hello, and welcome to Story Recap. For this episode, let's talk about what happened in AKA. So big time spoilers ahead, watch out. The movie bursts onto the screen unleashing a vivid scene set in the Sabha province of Libya. The initial shot depicts a group of three armed men, diligently undertaking the task of escorting a hooded individual who is tightly bound and blindfolded. Suddenly, the vehicle comes to an abrupt halt, and without any delay, one of the captors proceeds to forcefully extract the hooded man from the vehicle, and forcibly transports him to a nearby cavern. The hapless detainee is hurled into a confining enclosure in the subterranean cavern. He knows there is another captive, Sonia, a valiant journalist and informant, who is being held in a neighboring confinement. He softly murmurs to her his intent to liberate her from her predicament. Through sheer willpower and determination, he successfully wrenches himself free from the shackles that previously constrained him. Just as the captors bring him water, the hooded individual Adam Franco seizes the opportunity to attack them. In an intense fight, he takes down each of the captors one by one, using all his skills to defeat them. With the captors defeated, he frees Sonia from her cage, but in a shocking twist, he turns on her, raises his weapon and he delivers a fatal blow, leaving her lifeless on the ground. In the next scene, the secretary is woken up by a phone call in the middle of the night. The caller, Kruger, orders him to turn on the TV and reveals that he is on his way to the secretary's home. The news reports on an explosion at the Etoile Hotel, showing a photo of Mokhtar Al-Tayab, a notorious Sudanese warlord, as the prime suspect. The secretary is outraged by the news and demands that Kruger find Al-Tayab immediately. Kruger raises the idea of using his old contact, Victor Pastore, to get to Al-Tayab. The secretary and Kruger discuss the situation and decide that they need to infiltrate the meeting between Al-Tayab and Pastore. Kruger suggests that the ideal person for the job is Special Ops Agent Adam Franco. Then, Adam Franco finds himself in Tunisia, receiving urgent orders from Kruger. With no time to waste, he chooses a passport and heads to France, ready to face whatever danger lies ahead. In France, the tension mounts as Adam Franco meets with Kruger to discuss the next phase of his mission. Kruger reveals that Mokhtar Al-Tayab is hiding with the help of his old acquaintance, Victor Pastore. To get to Al-Tayab, Franco must infiltrate Pastore's organization and gain his trust, but to do so, he can't change his identity. Kruger provides all the information Franco needs to succeed. He also informs him that he will have two partners helping him on his mission. Adam Franco begins his infiltration of Victor Pastore's organization, posing as an employee. While he goes about his duties, he learns more about the inner workings of the organization and the dangerous players involved. Adam doesn't know what dangers may lie ahead and what secrets may be uncovered. On Adam's first day, Victor's right-hand man unexpectedly leaves, leaving Adam and Pee-wee with the critical mission of retrieving Victor's money from a banker. Along the way, Pee-wee briefs Adam on Ahmed, one of Victor's enemies who is claiming parts of his territory. The tension mounts further when Jacques returns home to find his son tied up by Cisco and Mona, Adam's partners. Despite Jacques' eventual compliance with their demands, Cisco and Mona are not satisfied. With a twisted sense of pleasure, they inject Jacques and his son with a lethal dose of a potent sedative, causing them to crumple to the ground. In the following scene, Cisco and Mona are seen tracking Victor's calls in an effort to find out if this information can lead them to Mokhtar Al-Tayab. They get a signal indicating that Mokhtar had called Victor, but unfortunately, they were unable to extract any valuable information. Realizing that this method alone was inadequate, they decide to plant a bug in Victor's office. Then we are taken to a scene where Mokhtar is seen fully disguised, preparing to meet with a partner. Meanwhile, Adam and Pee-wee are having a good time at one of Victor's wife's clubs when a fight breaks out outside. Adam quickly steps in and resolves the problem by beating up those who caused the fight. The next day, Victor and his wife are in a heated argument about the nightclub's business being affected by the fights caused by Victor's business. In addition, since the driver of Victor's son Sofiane was injured in the fight, Adam is assigned to take on the role of driver. As Adam tries to get some sleep, he receives a package containing a GPS tracker. Shortly after, he is summoned to Victor's house, where he puts the GPS tracker on Victor's car before heading inside to meet with Victor. Victor thanks Adam for his help in the nightclub incident and proceeds to inquire about his childhood and past experiences to ensure his identity. He asks him of the incidents when he killed a member of a council when he was 15. He also asks him to show him his wounds. In the following scene, we see Mokhtar receiving delivered packages from a truck. Later, Adam is tasked with picking up Victor's son Jonathan from school, but his sister comes and takes him instead. Before leaving, Victor's daughter Helene finds and takes a dossier from Adam's car, as she is suspicious of her father's people actions. At home, Helene goes through the documents and discovers that when Adam was just 15 years old, he shot a man named Jean-Luc Meunier, a member of the General Council. The man was accused of kidnapping, raping, and murdering multiple children, including Adam's brother. The report described Adam's act as suicidal, as he was shot 5 times but managed to survive. While bodyguarding at the nightclub, Adam notices Victor's wife Natalia talking to strangers in a car. Adam has a feeling this is strange. In the next scene, the audience sees Mokhtar having a nightmare about the night he lost both his wife and daughter, and he wakes up suddenly. Pee-wee then knocks on his door and embraces him. The audience is left wondering what other surprises and twists await them in this action-packed movie. The movie takes a dramatic turn as Adam brings a birthday gift for Jonathan. Taking advantage of the crowded birthday gathering, he tries to plant mics in different positions of Victor's office. He is successful in planting one but is interrupted by Victor. However, Adam manages to overhear Victor talking about a meeting on the phone, which Cisco and Mona quickly grab for further investigation. In the upcoming scene, a gathering of all of Victor's men, including Adam, can be witnessed as they prepare to conduct a bank robbery. Pee-wee, who appears to be nervous and restless, is observed fidgeting on their way to the bank. Following the robbery, which nets them around 500 grand, all of the men except for Adam are brimming with euphoria. As they drive through the street, their truck collides with another car, and the occupants of the other vehicle suddenly start shooting at Adam's truck. It dawns on them that they are Ahmet's men, and Cisco, who is following their truck from Victor's house, also joins in the shooting. After an intense battle, they succeed in eliminating all the shooters and making their escape. Adam subsequently realizes that the shooters were the same individuals he had spotted conversing with Natalia, Victor's wife, a few days prior. The plot thickens as the secretary and Kruger discuss the current state of their mission to kill Mokhtar and how it's failing. While the secretary is losing patience, Kruger puts his trust in Adam to complete the mission within the required time. In the subsequent scene, Victor can be seen distributing everyone's fair share. After receiving his portion, Adam notices Pee-wee bidding farewell to Victor as if he were departing for a far-off land. Alert to the potential danger, Adam cautions Natalia to make a quick escape before Victor uncovers her betrayal. It transpires that Natalia, the wife of Pastore, had shaken hands with Ahmet out of frustration with her husband's mistreatment of her. It is possible that her husband's harsh treatment was due to Jonathan not being his biological son. This could also explain why he failed to treat Jonathan like his own child, despite Jonathan always looking up to him as a father figure. Natalia confided in Ahmet about Pastore's plan to rob a bank, leading to a chain of events. In a sudden twist of events, Natalia receives a call from Ahmet, who masterminded the robbery from the truck. Ahmet is displeased because 2 of his cousins have died, and Natalia failed to inform him that Adam would be inside the truck. He informs her that he has taken Jonathan and demands a ransom of 500 grand euros. Despite her efforts to persuade him otherwise, Victor is unwilling to pay the ransom, considering it as an act of disrespect. Adam is following Pee-wee when he receives an urgent call from Helene, informing him of the harrowing kidnapping of Jonathan. Without hesitation, he quickly gears up, grabs his trusty weapon, and sets off on a daring mission to rescue his friend. Simultaneously, Cisco notices Mokhtar making a stealthy exit from the same store that Pee-wee has just entered. With determination and suspicion, Cisco tails Mokhtar and confronts him, commanding him to raise his hands in surrender. However, the tables are suddenly turned as, without warning, Pee-wee shoots Cisco from behind, sealing his tragic fate. Together, the 2 guys make a hasty escape after killing Cisco. Against all odds, Adam manages to rescue Jonathan after an intensely fierce shootout and brutal combat with Ahmet's henchmen. With great care and caution, he brings Jonathan safely back home. Unfortunately, due to the gunshot wound Adam sustained during the rescue, he loses consciousness. The film now takes us on a flashback journey, revealing the time when Adam was first recruited by the Kruger. After waking up from his injury, Adam finds the concerned Helene by his side. He abruptly warns her to leave him, and with a heavy heart, he quickly departs. Meanwhile, the secretary is seen intently watching Mokhtar through his window as he discreetly places a piece of paper. This mysterious paper bears critical information that the secretary simply must read. However, before the security personnel can arrive, the cunning Mokhtar manages to make his escape, leaving the secretary to ponder the contents of the paper and the potential implications. Then, Adam attempts to contact Cisco through his phone, but to no avail. Worried and desperate to locate him, Adam accesses the footage from the surveillance cameras in the store where Cisco was last seen. Much to his surprise, Adam discovers that Mokhtar had been at the location just a few minutes prior. However, His investigation is interrupted when the police arrive to arrest him for breaking into the store. Fortunately, Adam manages to convince the police that he is an undercover officer, resulting in his release. Unknown to Adam, Yusuf, one of Victor's men, is watching the entire scenario unfold from afar, potentially planning to report back to Victor about Adam's suspicious activities. After a long and arduous day, Adam finally returns home to find Helene anxiously waiting for him. However, as soon as he steps inside, he collapses and loses consciousness, leaving Helene to wonder about the cause of his sudden collapse and what she can do to help him. In a suspenseful turn of events, Mona overhears a conversation between Yusuf and Bogdan, two of Victor's men, discussing how Victor has discovered Natalia's betrayal and that Adam is, in fact, a cop. Upon hearing this, Mona realizes the gravity of the situation and quickly decides to take action. We wonder what Mona's plan is and whether she can save Natalia and Adam from Victor's wrath. In the next scene, the secretary is seen in a meeting with Kruger, where he expresses his fury over the recent incident involving Mokhtar being found dead right outside his house. The secretary reveals that Mokhtar's letter contained a photograph of him and the secretary, and Mokhtar's intention was to scare the secretary by threatening to release old dossiers. The secretary is alarmed by the potential consequences of this, and he demands that Kruger finish the mission once and for all. The gravity of the situation is palpable, and the audience is left wondering about the nature of the dossiers and the lengths to which the secretary is willing to go to protect himself and his interests. As the meeting progresses, tension fills the air, and the secretary's fury is evident in his voice. He makes it clear to Kruger that he will not tolerate any further threats to his safety or reputation. The secretary is a man who values his power and status, and he will do anything to preserve them, even if it means taking drastic measures. The contents of the dossiers and secrets are unknown. They may contain that could be so damaging to the secretary's reputation. The secretary's willingness to do whatever it takes to protect himself and his interests is undeniable, and the audience is left wondering about the lengths he is willing to go to achieve his goals. Victor's men, Yusuf, Bogdan, and Karim, are seen in a car outside Adam's home, waiting to kill him. While discussing their plan, Karim expresses his discomfort with the idea of taking Adam's life. Suddenly, Mona appears, seemingly looking for a lighter for her cigarette. However, she quickly turns on the men and kills them one by one. Unfortunately, Mona is also injured in the struggle, with a wound to her neck. Despite her injuries, Mona musters up the last of her strength and makes her way to Adam's home to inform him that his cover has been blown. Tragically, she dies instantly upon delivering the crucial information, leaving Adam to wonder about the ramifications of this revelation and what he can do to protect himself and those he cares about. In the next scene, Adam uses the tracking device on Mokhtar's phone to locate him and heads to the building where he is located, fully armed and with a sense of purpose. Upon entering the building, Adam finds Mokhtar and Pee-wee praying and confronts them. He shoots Mokhtar in the leg and orders Pee-wee to drop his weapon. Adam demands to know about their mission and the purpose of the stolen money. It is then that he notices a child lying on the bed, Mokhtar's daughter, who is in a coma. Pee-wee explains that the stolen money is for the girl's operation and recounts the events that led to their involvement. When Adam manages to find Mokhtar, the latter reveals that he isn't a terrorist. He was brought from Sudan under diplomatic circumstances to discuss a ceasefire in Sudan. Mokhtar took a stand against France's intentions to exploit Sudan's resources, and thus he was invited so that he could be killed. The explosion was not planned by him. It was an attempt to kill him, in which he lost his wife, Iman. His daughter received a bullet in her skull, for which she was being treated at the facility that Adam tracked them to. Mokhtar explains that he came to France at the invitation of the minister to discuss a ceasefire in South Sudan. However, he soon realized that Adam's masters were only interested in exploiting South Sudan's black gold. Mokhtar was determined to fight for his country's freedom and their right to self-determination. He had no idea that France's attempts to trick him would lead to his murder. The French government wanted to get rid of Mokhtar to make sure that he didn't open his mouth against their methods in Sudan. They were thus trying to hide the crimes that they were carrying out in Sudan, and God knows how many Sudanese people they have killed for the same reason. Kruger hired Adam under the secretary's minister orders, one of the many that preceded it. They had absolutely no regard for Mokhtar's family, and it is strange to think that they tried to do nothing less than kill a person who was in no way involved in any kind of illegal activity, along with his family. As they discuss the situation, Mokhtar continues to pray for his daughter's recovery. Suddenly, he is shot and killed. A continuous shooting follows, forcing Adam and Pee-wee to fight for their lives and the life of Mokhtar's daughter. After an intense firefight, with limited space and resources, they manage to hold onto the child and escape the gunfire. The final scenes of the movie are a flurry of action and suspense. The audience is the aftermath of the previous events, including Helene's arrest from Adam's house, the corpses of Mona and Cisco, and the tragic deaths of Jacques and his son at the hands of Kruger. The secretary also sees his photo with Mokhtar in a newspaper article that suggests his involvement in terrorist activities, adding to the intrigue and uncertainty. Then, Pee-wee is seen driving away to the countryside with Mokhtar's daughter, and Victor brutally beats and kills his wife before being slain by Kruger in his own home. In the final scene, Helene is seen boarding a bus, unaware that Kruger is following her. However, Adam also boards the bus with Jonathan, and a tense standoff ensues. In a sudden burst of action, Adam stabs Kruger on the neck, killing him instantly. He then continues his journey with Helene and Jonathan, leaving the audience to wonder about their fate and what lies ahead for them. The movie ends on a note of resolution and closure. If you want interesting movie recaps like these, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.